So today I'm going to make a screen printed glass tile, and I'm going to show you how I do that. It's going to end up looking like this after it's fired, screen printed Make-A-Wish tile. So first of all, I've got my very old kind of self-made little board with which to attach a silk screen. This is my silk screen. I've got it made up by a couple of people. I bought the original frame from Blow Up in Chichester, and then I got the image that I wanted burnt onto the silk screen by Inkspot Press in Brighton. And the mesh is quite important for firing onto glass. It needs to be really thin. So if you're thinking of getting a silk screen made up, just make sure that you tell them that it's for fused glass. Underneath the silk screen, I'm going to put a pre-cut square of what's called periwinkle glass, because obviously it's got really sharp corners. I'm going to need to mask it down first. I just need to kind of align it without trying to, without ripping the silk screen itself, because it is really kind of tightly wound, and the smallest little nick can just make the whole thing fall apart, like this one here. So probably the fiddliest part of this is just lining it up, and if you were silk screening anything else like cards or fabric, it doesn't really matter, but once you've kind of nicked it, that's it, you kind of had it. So I think that looks about right. Maybe edge it up slightly more. Okay, so I'm just going to mask around the edges of it now. I used to grind the edges down so that they were nice and round before putting under the silk screen, but I realised this was probably a much quicker way of doing it, and this way I don't get loads of bits of fine glass powder flying around my kitchen, which is how I used to do it. Now I get asked quite a lot about what kind of things you can fire in between glass and what kind of paint you can use. And I screen print with enamel, which is a glass paint that I've pre-mixed with like a water-based mixing medium. Comes as a powder. And you can put it on top of glass or in between layers of glass, and it obviously kind of fires and becomes part of the product itself. I tend to pre-mix it to about the same texture as, don't know what you'd call that, honey maybe? Really thick honey. And you don't need too much, but what you want to do is kind of spread it across the width of the image that you want to screen print. And then I take I can't remember what they're called, a squeegee, I think. Pull it down at like a 45-degree angle, really evenly and with quite a lot of pressure. And then hopefully you'll have a really nice strong image. And screen printing lets you have like a really fine image. Obviously you can paint directly onto glass, and we do lots of painting, but it ends up with quite a watercolour effect. For the kind of glass tile that I want to make, I'm going to decorate it with some silver sparkles, which you just kind of sprinkle a bit like salt where you want it. I don't always do it straight after, because obviously it will stick to the enamel. And then put them where you want them, really. Give a sense of movement. And the final thing to do would be to put a bit of clear glass on top of it, and then when they've melted together you'll have a nice round tile, and I'll show you how it looks tomorrow. Thanks, bye.